Stuart, are you going to go for total free speech? And if so, does that include allowing anti-Semitic posts like the ones that got Ye locked out of Twitter?
Well, thanks for the question, Stuart. I want to take it back to a higher level here, which is at what point do we censor speech? But as soon as you start drawing distinctions as to what is and isn't hate speech, you sit yourself in the seat of power as to what can be put online and what can't be put online. And that's where we've ended up with the problem with existing social media now.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and I can't believe I am saying this, but someone on Fox News is asking decent questions when it comes to social media.
Once you start deciding where that scale is going to be set, you're in a world of trouble.
Yeah, but you got to tell us what's going to happen here. I mean, we all want free speech, but do we all want anti-Semitism writ large on Parler?
Well, I mean, I don't think Ye has given any indication that that's going to be the case. I mean, he's obviously wants a platform for his voice. This is what he's now got. There are plenty of platforms out there which will censor speech.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, George, but is this what we can expect?
Stuart Varney is pressing the current CEO for Parler, a social media platform that came out of the rise of right-wing extremism being flagged or taken down off of Twitter and Reddit.
He takes over, takes control, and starts making anti-Semitic comments. I mean, that is entirely possible, isn't it?
I mean, the platform will continue to adhere to its community guidelines as outlined in its terms of service. That's always been very clear, and we will continue to adhere to the guidelines that we've put out and which have allowed us to operate freely within the confines of the law. So I don't expect that to change. Obviously, in the end of the day, and when the deal is complete and when he has control of the platform, he'll be able to make those decisions for himself. He will ultimately be the controller.
Seen here, the current CEO that will be handing over this platform to Kanye West and doesn't seem to have a fixed idea on whether or not Parler may devolve into a very anti-Semitic social ground. Ideas around free speech and that argument have been used on and off again during the rise of Trumpism in American politics, and it is no surprise that with him trending seemingly every day, that attacks on Jewish communities are also being normalized. Kanye West has recently said multiple things that are blatant dog whistles and coded language used for decades to paint Jewish communities as the controlling community of the world, and Trump recently followed suit as well. So where do you draw the line between free speech and inciting violence? Trump has been dancing on that line since the January 6 attacks, and it seems that his followers and those that revere him as an idol also tend to do the same.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Well, this weekend, the ex-president of the United States threatened America's Jews. On Sunday morning, Donald Trump took to his fake Twitter website to brag about how no president has done more for Israel than him. But American Jews, he said, are not grateful. Quote, U.S. Jews have got to get their act together and appreciate what they have in Israel before it is too late.
The problem with anti-Semitism is clearly defined in our world's history, allowing for people, powerful people, to make accusations about entire communities led to the Holocaust, and we know that. We also know that our broad stroke approach to people of Middle Eastern and Muslim backgrounds also created massive consequences in our world. So, it would seem to me that entertaining those that flirt with those boundaries isn't exactly a stride in progress for us as a country. Now, saying dumb stuff on Twitter isn't exactly against the law, but as social media companies become the preferred setting for the news cycle, this can obviously spiral out of control. Will it be a part of our history that we allowed for comments like this to slide under a free speech argument and create a more devastating ripple effect? Or can we rely on the companies that own these platforms to strictly enforce guidelines that do not result in real-world consequences? If we have any recent precedent, it would seem that the election fraud and denial scheme of Donald Trump and his cohorts took off on social media and private chat rooms and resulted in January 6th, along with his encouragement that day. Marjorie Trainwreck Green has been very vocal about the fact that she is anti-Semitic and went so far as to say that she didn't believe that Jewish people could be any part of the modern-day MAGA GOP. And who can forget the Jewish space laser quotes from her Facebook?
But here are just some of the crazy things that Marjorie Taylor Greene, congressperson, believes. So that is a gigantic wall of text, but I will sum it up for you. The Camp Fire in California, the worst wildfire in California to that point, she believes was not caused by electrical equipment from PG&E. She believes that space lasers owned by the Rothschilds were beaming energy back to America, and a blue beam of light shot California and burned down the forest. And perhaps it ends there, or perhaps it was done on purpose so that Governor Brown could get his high-speed rail. All of that is in that thing. Space lasers owned by nefarious Jewish businessmen behind the scenes, all so they can get some sort of big commie lib public transit project.
There is a correlation here. More right-wing nut jobs are siding with authoritarian leaders and hugging necks with KKK members and speaking at white nationalist rallies. Now, whether or not this takes place openly on Parler will be up to its new incoming owner, Kanye West, and we have the displeasure of having to say over and over again how dangerous this rhetoric is. So in some ways it falls on us as consumers and our ability to speak out and abide no hatred directed towards any marginalized group. I could care less what Kanye West does with his career, but if he ushers in a new era of anti-Semitism, then we have to be the ones to push back, and that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.